He's the greatest and most well-known superhero of all time. Sorry Marvel fans, deal with it. It's time to rank all the live-action Superman movies from worst to best.
I believe this is your floor.
Hey guys, it's Jim and welcome back to my channel. If you're a movie geek just like me, please consider subscribing, like the video, and tell me what you think of my Superman ranking in the comments below, and what is yours?
Destroy Superman. First, I have fun.
Coming in at last place is Superman 4. Superman 4 is unequivocally, undebatably, a load of old arse. So Superman had kind of been out of the public eye for a while. The franchise was kind of dead, and then Canon arrived on the scene. The amazing people at Canon, no, I like Canon, but they came on the scene, they got Superman, tried to bring it back, and there just seems to be a really low budget, incomplete feeling to this movie, which stems right at the start. The credits are terrible, so low budget and horrendous, and it just doesn't bode well. And then the movie basically tries to reunite all the old cast, you know, because since the first Superman movie and Superman 2, Superman 3 didn't have Lois Lane, didn't have Lex Luthor. This one, they all come back, and you know, the Chief from the newspaper's in it, Jimmy's in it, like they're all back, but they don't really do anything by reuniting the band. It's just like they have them there to tick off the list, and it doesn't feel right. No one really feels like they want to be there, even Christopher Reeve. Don't get me wrong, he's not bad in the movie, but he almost seems to go through the movie with this look on his face like, yeah, I'm sorry guys, I know this is bad. The whole idea of Superman entering the nuclear arms race, now, it was clearly pushing an agenda at the time, and it was clearly just a political agenda movie. And it didn't really make sense, because it's just literally Superman saying what he thinks about nuclear weapons. Like, why does that matter in the real world anyway? Because Superman's imaginary. You know, bringing this real world idea into Superman 4 didn't really make sense, because you're not really going to make any difference by having Superman say that he's against nuclear weapons. Maybe Christopher Reeve kind of overestimated the influence he had as Superman. Like, the world leader going to be sitting there watching Superman 4 going, yeah, you know what? Let's get rid of nuclear weapons. Superman said so. Nuclear Man, played by Mark Pillow, is one of the worst villains in the history of all of film. I'll say it. He's ridiculous.
Where is the woman?
Give it up, you'll never find her.
If you will not tell me, I will hurt people.
You know, and I like ridiculous movies, I like ridiculous villains, but this guy is just so ridiculous, and he's not intimidating. He's so over the top, he's cringe-worthy, and he looks like a model. You know, he's not intimidating. He doesn't have any presence to him. He's basically like a pound shop Dolph Lundgren. And, you know, I like Dolph Lundgren, but he wasn't the greatest actor in the world. This is if you couldn't get Dolph Lundgren, so you're not getting nothing. Superman 4 is just a lifeless, bland, annoying film, you know, because you've got everyone back. You've got Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. You've got Christopher Reeve as Superman, but no one can really overcome this kind of hurdle of the movie being so low budget and so badly written and badly executed.
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S. On my world, it means hope.
Next up is Man of Steel. Please don't come and hunt me down. I love Henry Cavill as Superman, I really do. Zack Snyder's vision was just so ill-conceived and badly executed. It was overly ambitious. It really, really was. It was trying to be Batman Begins, but Superman. It was too dark to be Superman. And Henry Cavill's portrayal at times was too dark to be Superman. It just felt like a bit odd and off, that they really didn't understand the character of Superman. There's no hope to this movie. It's a really bland and kind of dark film. Henry Cavill's very angry in this. You know, it's almost like they're trying to go, well, Superman's human too, but the point of Superman is that he isn't human. He's you know, he's come to live with the humans and he's adopted human traits, but he's not actually human. So he uses his kind of Krypton values to inspire humanity. Of course, Kevin Costner plays his dad, and you could have executed this so much better in the way that he doesn't want his son to kind of be noticed by the world for his powers. I really enjoyed that little take, but the way they executed was so god awful. I am so confident that I don't want you to use your powers, Clark, that when we have a hurricane, just let me get sucked up in it. Just let me get sucked up in it. Let it suck me up, chew me up, spit me out. That scene is horrendous cinema, where Kevin Costner puts his hand up like some kind of just talk to the hand, and then gets sucked up by a hurricane. It's beyond stupid, because I know what they were trying to say. Yeah, that's almost the thing with Zack Snyder. You can see what he's trying to say, but he never delivers it right. Who would notice Clark flying to save you there? No one would notice it because they're all running away from the bloody hurricane, Kev. I don't hate the film, I really don't, but it is low on my list. I think Michael Shannon's good as General Zod. He brought a different take on it to the guy who played him in Superman 2, Terrence Stamp. He's intimidating, he was written pretty well. The action is tiring in this. I was glad to see Superman finally do some, fighting, but they go too far with it and it just becomes what people condemn superhero movies for, which is just constant prolonged CGI battles. And every other movie on this list other than Superman 4 has that heart that shines through. That was what was missing in Man of Steel, a real understanding that Superman is good. Deep down, there wasn't enough goodness in this movie.
I just don't see why you can't balloon down like the rest of us.
Well, no way. I just don't believe a man can fly.
Number 4 is Superman 3. Look, I think Superman 3 is okay, but it immediately changed up the tone from Superman 2, which is an excellent film. It changed up the tone and just turned it screwball and silly immediately with no transition. Richard Pryor is a big part of this movie, and I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to give some comic relief. They're trying to give a character who you could laugh at alongside Superman. The weird thing about this is Richard Pryor isn't funny in the movie. Richard Pryor is an incredibly funny actor. You want to see hilarious Richard Pryor, See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Is a hilarious film with Richard Pryor. There's many others he's done. He doesn't do anything in this. When I sit here watching Superman 3, I'm like, come on then, Richard, give us a joke. There's no jokes. He tries to make a god-awful, bland script for himself work, and there's no jokes. This movie is quite literally Clark Kent and Lois's summer holidays. You don't even see Lois's. Because the cast were really annoyed because Richard Donner was booted off of Superman 2 and Richard Lester took over Superman 2 and directed Superman 3. A lot of the cast bloody hated Richard Lester, so didn't agree to be in it. One of those was Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. And at the start of the film, she buggers off. She buggers off out of the film. Lois is going on a summer holiday. And then Clark says, I'm going on a bloody summer holiday too. It's almost like, what? Is Clark not going to be in this movie? We're going to just see Richard Pryor become Superman. But no, we actually get to follow Clark on his summer holiday back to Kansas. It's not actually a summer holiday. He goes back to a reunion and he just kind of gets to reminisce. And he meets this lady played by Annette O'Toole, who he knew when he was younger, Lana Lang. And these scenes are very charming. I really like Superman 3 for the way we get to go back with Clark and reminisce on his younger days and meet an old flame, the one who got away. They are really charming and really genuinely sweet together, and I love this little small town romance they have. Let's be honest here, Lois is a bit of a bitch. She's a bit of a bitch to Clark. Lana Lang isn't. Lana Lang's really, really nice, and it's a really endearing relationship. And watching it here, it made me want to see Clark end up with her over Lois. Sorry, Lois, but you are a bit of a bitch. I think the highlight of Superman 3 has to be Evil Superman, where Superman gets infected and he turns into an evil version of himself. And he is an arsehole. Christopher Reeve really jumps in headfirst. I mean, how can you forgive a man who flies into the Leaning Tower of Pisa and makes it straight?
Why would you do that? You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
Seeing Evil Superman sat at the bar downing shots, it's one of the most absurd, hilarious things. Superman 3 isn't the greatest film, but at least it has moments like this for Christopher Reeve to flex his acting chops and to experiment. At least it has the Evil Superman stuff, because it really makes it stand out from the rest of the series. There's a fight scene in this where Evil Superman fights Clark, because he's just kind of fighting himself, and they have this battle in the junkyard. which is one of the best scenes in the entire series, and I absolutely love it, so I really commend the film for that.
You always wanted to fly, Kent. Now's your chance.
One of the problems with Superman 3 is that the villains are entertaining, but they're not menacing, they're not intimidating, they're not really anything compared to the villains we'd seen in Superman 2, you know, General Zod and Lex Luthor. Just nothing compared to that. They were kind of comedic and awkward, and they kind of build this machine to fight Superman, which I kind of like the idea of building a machine to fight Superman, but that whole climax, something really off about it, something really odd about it, just bizarre and strange and screwball, and they don't really feel any stakes, you know. And the problem with Superman 3, even though it's really entertaining, I like it, it's a missed opportunity because Richard Pryor isn't funny enough, and it's way too screwball. But Christopher Reeve is still on form. I love the Lana Lang and Clark storyline. I really enjoy the evil Superman stuff. I like Richard Lester's direction, so I am a fan of Superman 3.
You wrote that the world doesn't need a savior. But every day I hear people crying for one.
Number 3 is Superman Returns. Yeah, you heard right, I went there. I love Superman Returns. Shoot me. I actually rewatched this to do this video, and I was expecting, oh no, here we go. Because I never, you know, liked it growing up. I didn't watch it much. But guess what? I think it's a great movie. I think Bryan Singer really does deliver in this. I think it's a wonderfully shot, elegant, majestic movie. I really do. It's so heartfelt. It's so wonderful to look at and glorious and beautiful of a film. It's kind of trying to do what Man of Steel did, but it's actually delivering. It's keeping the heart of Superman, but it is injecting some emotional weight and some stakes and some darkness to it. But somehow I really feel like Bryan Singer balances it all. It still feels like a Superman movie, but it has some ambition to it, has some kind of ideas to it. Obviously Brandon Routh takes over as Superman, Kate Bosworth takes over as Lois Lane, and they all look about 21. And this is supposed to be set, I think, after Superman A Quest for Peace, Superman 4, and you're supposed to think that Superman disappeared for 5 years. So, you know, these characters would be at least 35. They literally look like American Pie characters. They're so young. You know, and the weird thing about this, and one of the problems I do have with the movie, is that Clark has been away for 5 years, and coincidentally, Clark and Superman return at the exact same time to the city. Think. But Clark is surprised that Lois has moved on with her life. Mate, you've been away for 5 years. A lot changes in 5 years, man. And he's just like, he expects Lois to still have feelings for him. I'm like, that's not how it works, Clark. It kind of makes Clark a little bit unlikable in the early going of this, but I do feel like as it goes on, it does give a unique take. You know, we've never had this in Superman where, you know, Clark can't have Lois even more than he already couldn't. He has to, and this film's about him coming to terms with the fact that he can't have her. I do think that Brandon Routh is terrific. I think he's fantastic as Superman. I'll go as far as saying that. He's the next best thing to Christopher Reeve because he tries to mimic Christopher Reeve, you know, and you know, it's incredibly difficult to do that. I think Christopher Reeve is by far the best Superman actor of all time. And for Brandon Routh as a young guy here to pretty much as you possibly another human being can duplicate Christopher Reeve and just deliver, I was really, really impressed. He even nails it down to his voice. Brandon Routh, you know, you can see his inexperience as an actor, but he's really dedicated to the part, you can tell. He looks great as Superman, he has presence, you believe him. I'll be honest, I actually prefer Brandon Routh as Superman to Henry Cavill. Please don't hate me, but I just feel like he had the more kind of likeable nature that Superman's supposed to have and the innocence of Superman. When Superman returns and saves a plane, that is one of the most epic scenes that I forgot about. You know, watching it, I was like, wow, that is a fantastic scene. That is up there with some of the greatest superhero scenes of all time because it treats Superman as a spectacle. And it was like, we hadn't seen Superman for years, and now we see him save this plane with the use of now better technology than we had back then. It just makes Superman such a spectacle. That whole scene is glorious. I just feel like all the way through the film, Bryan Singer, there's just shots that I want to hold on to forever. It does have kind of like a fairy tale feeling to it and a childlike innocence, which I like, but it is dark in moments, you know, but it balances the darkness and still holds on to what we know and love about Superman.
Are you okay? Well, I hope this experience hasn't put any of you off flying. Statistically speaking, it's still the safest way to travel.
I do think Kate Bosworth is a problem as Lois Lane. She's not as good as Margot Kidder. She's not even as good as Terry Hatcher in The Adventures of Superman. She's not great. She's not. I'd probably say Amy Adams is a better Lois. I probably would. She's not great. You know, she's not got the charisma. She is a bit too young. But you know what? Brandon Routh's reactions to her, and they have a little bit of chemistry. You know, I wasn't completely taken out of the equation. I think she's okay, but she's not great. She could have been a lot better. She's probably one of the big problems with the film, though. Now, obviously, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Kevin Spacey is Lex Luthor, and obviously, we don't want to talk too much about Kevin Spacey, but you know what? Performance is fantastic. You can tell that he's studied Gene Hackman. He brings a similar performance to Gene Hackman, but also more of a disturbing performance, but it still has that kind of heightened bad guy feel to it. Climax at the Fortress of Solitude, where Lex Luthor is beating Superman with kryptonite, is one of the most glorious scenes I've seen in so long. Like, the fortress looks so gorgeous, and that scene is so much weight. Bryan Singer presents it as the most devastating thing in the world, the most brutal thing in the world. Superman getting beaten with his kryptonite. It reminded me of comic book, you know, epic comic book moments. It reminded me of epic movie moments. It's stellar in all ways. That climax is fantastic, you know, absolutely glorious. All in all, Superman Returns, I wasn't expecting to, but I really, really love the film.
Why are you here? There must be a reason for you to be here.
Yes, I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
You're going to end up fighting every elected official in this country.
Number 2 is Superman the movie. By far, this is one of the most important films ever made. What I love about Superman the movie is the way that it just takes the character, treats it with integrity, and just brings you superhero movies. This is where it all started. This is where someone actually sat there and went, I'm going to bring some actual respect to these comic book characters, and I'm going to put them out there. And it's just such a great adaptation of Superman. So this has some of the things that the other movies don't, such as scenes on Krypton with Marlon Brando, famously in the movie as Jor-El. And those scenes are just mesmerising, you know, absorbing and incredible. Imagine sitting there in the 70s watching that. You know, they take the early moments of Superman's origin very seriously, and they show you Krypton, and it's just otherworldly. It's exactly what it is, it's otherworldly. And Marlon Brando's fantastic. Just the way that Richard Donner shoots that whole thing, it looks like another planet. Quite literally, it looks like how sci-fi should. It blows your mind. Immediately, Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve have such chemistry as Lois and Clark. They are immediately Lois and Clark. Everything you would want from that relationship is immediately there. The banter, the confusion, the kind of awkwardness of Clark, it's all there. And it's incredible chemistry. You know, it's fantastic. And Margot Kidder is one of the best Lois Lanes, you know, probably the best Lois Lane. She's fantastic. Christopher Reeve, you know, is unbelievable as Superman. He really is, because one thing you really have to notice about his performance is that a lot of the other Superman performances didn't do is that he can take off those glasses and his entire demeanour changes. Everything about him changes right then, and he's Clark Kent. He's completely different. Puts on the glasses, everything changes. The demeanour changes, the physical performance. It's so impressive, the little touches that Christopher Reeve puts in to become the greatest Superman of all time. To this day, the greatest Superman of all time. That, you know, that face, that genuinity, that innocence, but you know, that kind of, you believe in the guy to protect you. You know, he's just good personified. One of the great scenes in this, where you first see Superman, is where he saves Lois from falling out of the helicopter. So many scenes in this. Again, you put yourself in 1978, sitting there in the cinema. They didn't know how they were going to do a lot of this when they first announced the film, and they did it, you know. You may scoff these days and go, well, the effects weren't that good. I think they still hold up because you can see the ambition behind them. So, you know, you don't ever think that Christopher Reeve isn't flying. I'm really impressed with this. You know, of course Superman Returns looks better, of course Man of Steel looks better, but I'm really impressed with this. You know, the amount it must have took to go, right, we want to make it believable, we want to make Superman fly, we want to make it seem real. And when there's something on the screen, it's always more believable in my book. So those early scenes where Superman's saving Lois from the helicopter are just iconic stuff, and still exciting to this day.
God, look up there.
The hell's that?
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me? Who's got you? I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it. He got her.
Of course, we get Gene Hackman as Luthor, and he is just as disturbing as he is campy and funny. I love the casual way he talks about killing people in this. Gene Hackman's just wonderful, you know. He's the ultimate arrogant Lex Luthor who just makes a kind of light-hearted game out of everything he's doing. It's a glorious performance. Superman does a load of things in this film that you'd want to see him do when you first see Superman. He lies on the train track to have the train go over him. He moves a bunch of rocks to save Lois. You know, it's like maneuvering nature and being a force of nature himself. You don't necessarily want to see Superman fight. You want to see the different ways that he saves people, and there's a lot of that in this. And again, it was the first time, and it again was so impressive to see, and still is impressive whenever you watch it. It's never lost that magic.
I win! I always win. Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Number 1 is Superman 2. I believe it to be one of the greatest superhero movies ever made, and it doesn't, you know, people don't really talk about Superman 2. They talk about Batman 89, they talk about Spider-Man, they talk about Avengers, they talk about all these movies. Don't forget about Superman 2, it's fantastic. This is just where every single conceivable thing from Superman the movie is elevated, becomes serious, there's more stakes, there's more grit, there's more darkness, but it still feels like the same universe from Superman the movie. Everyone is on top of their game. This is more of a love story because Clark and Lois get closer. Wonderful performances by Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve. You really convince you they're in love, you know. They're very tender performances and very believable performances. It is a very romantic film, and I feel like it had to work. These actors had to nail it, and they really did nail it, and you're happy to see a lot of the film just about their romance. Of course, General Zod is played by Terrence Stamp. He comes down to the planet with his goons, and his performance is just stunning. You know, it's such a commanding performance, but again, it's got that wild and crazy campiness that you expect from villains in the Superman movie universe.
You are the one they call president?
I am.
I see you are practiced in worshipping things that fly. Good. Rise before Zod. No. Kneel before Zod.
Terrence Stamp, you know, everything about him, the look on the face, just the way he delivers his lines, you really believe that he just believes everyone in proximity should be lying down worshipping him. And it's, you know, to nail it that well, where it's that ridiculous of a character is so believable, it does make him intimidating, it does make him scary. That scene where Zod and his mates are just throwing stuff, blowing stuff up, destroying the city, Superman has to watch it, Superman has to intervene, intercept things, make sure it doesn't all blow up, is fantastic. You know, I really admire Richard Lester, because he just makes that whole scene so intense. And, you know, again, they've stepped up their game with visual effects. Again, to this day, it doesn't look incredible, but see Superman flying around, stopping vehicles and flying down vehicles and catching stuff. It just is great to see it in front of you in such a way that you've always imagined in the comic books. It's not CGI, it's actually happening in front of you. I mentioned Richard Lester there. Now, in Superman 2, Richard Donner actually started out doing the film, and then Richard Lester took over from him because Donner fell out with the studios. There are actually two cuts to Superman 2, the Donner cut and the theatrical cut. They're both really good. I would say the one I'm most familiar with is Richard Lester's theatrical cut, I must say. The Richard Donner cut is more introspective, it's got some scenes from Krypton. So I don't really know who was responsible for more, because Donner did a little bit of the theatrical. So I don't really know who's responsible for what. So when I praise Lester and it's Donner, then I take it back, because rest in peace Richard Donner, legend. You know, it's a shame, you know, but I do feel like Richard Lester deserves credit, because he could have came in and ruined the movie, but he still kept the tone, he kept the style, he kept the vibe, and he still made one of the greatest superhero movies. I think Superman also has the biggest challenge ever with General Zod. Gene Hackman is in this as Luthor again. He's kind of sucking up to General Zod in this, which is hilarious. Gene Hackman plays such a slime ball in this. So it's great to see him back in it too, still got all the charisma. But I just feel like this is, you know, they really went for it with Superman 2. They really went for these guys destroying the city. They really went for everything being out of control, and they went for the highest stakes they could. Still just as charming and light-hearted as Superman, but he has some real kind of gritty moments in this. It makes Superman a lot more tougher. But again, the heart is at the core of the film. And you know, I just love Superman 2. I think it's so entertaining. It's so big time feeling. You know, everything you would deem great in a superhero movie is in Superman 2. I really want to know your ranking in the comments below, and I really want to know what you think of mine. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please hit that subscribe button if you love rankings like these. Click on another one of mine on the screen now. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.